Right, the recent murder of a whistleblower in the Timothy Omotoso rape case has highlighted the dangers for those who speak out against any mounting problem. Community activist and whistleblower Pamela Mabini was shot dead in the driveway of her home in KwaZakhele, that's in Gqeberha, on Friday. So this has also raised fresh concerns about whistleblower safety. Let's chat a bit about this now via one of our links, of course. Let's speak to whistleblower activist Adila Chowan. Adila, it's great to speak to you once again, but unfortunately, every time we do so, it's under circumstances like this where nothing seems to change. We've spoken about Babita Chowan. We're speaking about Pamela Mabini today. Whistleblowers in South Africa continuing to face life-threatening dangers. And what does this say about the state's ability or inability to protect whistleblowers? We keep having the same conversation.
Firstly, thank you for having me on your show. It is unfortunate that we keep having this conversation, as you correctly pointed out, that the state is not doing sufficient to protect our whistleblowers. Subsequent to Babita Chowan's demise or murder, we've now seen other whistleblowers that have been persecuted and those that have paid with their lives. And the most recent one is Pamela Mabini. It's unfortunate that our legislation is not amended or the state has not done enough to protect the whistleblowers.
Yeah, and I mean, what measures are going to be enough? What measures should be put in place to ensure, better prosecution, for those who, not prosecution, but protection, for those who expose corruption and crime, because they do this at great expense to their families. And in these cases that we've spoken about, both of them, it was to their lives. Why should people even care to speak up? It's the ethical thing to do. But when you see instances such as this, it will definitely, and without a shadow of a doubt, possibly even stop those who could speak out on even bigger issues relating to corruption because they fear for their lives and for those of their families. It's as simple as that.
You are 100% correct. With the current state of affairs with regard to the lack of protection of whistleblowers, it is most certainly a deterrent for whistleblowers to come forward. We've also seen whistleblowers that have fled our country fearing their lives. An example will be William Athol. So in order to protect the whistleblowers, the Protected Disclosure Act is insufficient. There needs to be more robust changes made with regard to the protection of the whistleblowers, which include criminalizing the persecution of whistleblowers. It also includes, providing some form of financial assistance when whistleblowers are being legally persecuted as well. What we've seen recently at the G20, it was very topical, the discussion about protection of whistleblowers. Resolutions have been taken, and there's been kind of an indication that there would be some attempt made to ensure those resolutions are implemented. And we're hoping that, these resolutions bring about change. But we also got to be cognizant of the fact that you've got developing countries and developed countries. We cannot simply just bring the legislation from a developed country because there is resources that need to be put behind it.
Yeah.
But we cannot constantly be hiding behind the lack of resources and exposing the whistleblowers. There's got to be some resources over a period of time being allocated for the protection of whistleblowers.
Yeah, and what role can civil society, and even us as the media, play in supporting some of these whistleblowers?
Well, active citizen movement has been playing an active role with regard to following up where there has been lack of accountability from the state. An example will be Babita Chowan's murder. Her family has not received proper feedback in respect of the progress that has made in bringing her perpetrators to justice. So they've now given some sort of an undertaking to give a monthly feedback to the family. But is that sufficient? And why is it that there should be the whistleblowers' activism moving towards trying to push the state to do what they're supposed to be doing. And it's also, giving a negative signal to whistleblowers that, the persecution of whistleblowers is a crime that people can get away with.
Yeah, true. And I mean, what kind of support systems should there actually be in place for whistleblowers? I mean, there have been many calls for, better systems to be put in place for whistleblowers. And, these whistleblowers that we speak about are whistleblowers that have blown the whistle on, some of the most treacherous, allegations of corruption that have looked into millions and millions that could possibly, in the case of Babita Deokaran, have collapsed an entire hospital. And you have people like that who are paying for their lives, with their lives, in fact.
You're 100% correct. We have been asking for regulations. We've also been asking for specific institutions to be implemented where whistleblowers can go and approach this institution knowing that they are protected, and also the fact that the institution doesn't just look at the complaint, but also look at the person that is bringing the complaint in terms of ensuring that they're not being persecuted, there's no financial persecution of them in terms of them losing their jobs, in terms of the legal persecution where they don't have the financial resources to litigate. Those are the aspects that we wish that an institution would be implemented that would look at the protection, not just from a financial, but also the life and safety of these whistleblowers.
And I mean, I have to ask, Adila, have you yourself, I mean, you've always been vocal about ensuring that, whistleblowers get the kind of protection that they should be getting, and spoken out on a number of these instances that we've seen take place in the country. Have you personally faced any kind of, threats or even intimidation for speaking out for, whistleblowers to get more protection?
Unfortunately, I have not been threatened, and it is unfortunate when Pamela Mabini was threatened. She definitely, she said she was vocal about the fact that she was threatened with her life, and despite coming forward with that, it looked like we failed her in terms of protecting her for being an activist and for being a whistleblower.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, as always, for speaking to us, Adila. Speaking to you once again when we have yet another incident of a whistleblower killed in South Africa, and this time, of course, community activist and whistleblower in the Timothy Omotoso rape case. That was Pamela Mabini, who was killed, shot dead in the driveway of her KwaZakhele home. This is in Gqeberha. This took place on Friday. We've seen quite a lot of reaction on social media to this from many people, who have known her and have spoken out, against, these attacks on whistleblowers, and exactly, what protection, none whatsoever, is being given to whistleblowers currently in this country, who risk their lives by bringing to light some of the most treacherous things that are taking place, and ultimately pay with their lives.